Hi, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday Tips and Techniques. This is Jill, and today we're going to be talking about paper tearing. It sort of gives a lot of people anxiety because they've got this beautiful paper and somebody tells them to tear it. Why in the world would you do it? But I'm going to show you that you can tear solid color paper and you can also tear pattern paper. One of the things with Close to My Heart paper is that it has a white core. And I'm going to bring this up so you can sort of see, hopefully, that the inside paper is white. And you've got this is Bluebird. So this is Bluebird here. And then this is the lighter color on the back. You can see there's a difference between the two sides. When you go to tear solid color paper, for Close to My Heart especially, you want to make sure you know which side you're going to have up at the end. So let's say I want the blue up at the end, the darker side of the Bluebird. When I go to tear, and I'm just using my hands for this. You don't need any special equipment. I'm going to show you another way to do it, but you don't need any special equipment for this, which I'm going to tear as I go. Now, I'm right-handed for a lot of things, but whichever hand is pulling up, the white from the white core is going to show up on the piece of paper you're holding still. So if you want the white edging to show, then you're going to make sure you know which way you're going. I think it'll be easier once I show you. So as I start to tear, this piece on my right is coming up, and you can see there is the white core showing on the edge. If I was left-handed and was doing this, it would be the same way. This one is coming up. This side has the white core. So I'm going to tear this off. If I wanted, there we go. Okay, so you can see you've got the white edge there. On the opposite side of the paper, you've still got the torn edge, but you're not seeing the white core. And this kind of gives it a little bit of distinction. It sets things apart, makes it pop a little bit like that. That's one way of doing it. It's easy. I tend to cut my paper approximately the size I'm going to want. If I'm going to want a torn piece that's, say, 2 inches wide. In the end, I might start out with, 3.5 inches wide. I'm not going to start with a 12-inch sheet of paper. I would cut it down a little bit first. It's much easier when you go to tear, if you are tearing just a small amount on the one side. You can tear and just pull and it comes off like that. Or you can just do just a little bit at a time, like this, depending on what look you want or how much of the white core you want shown. The more you rip without holding real closely to where you're doing, the more white you're going to get. Okay, that's one way to do it. You can also do it with a ruler. And I have got pattern paper here, and I'm going to use the red and white polka dot side. I've got all sorts of animals over here, but I think it'll be a little bit easier to see here. This is a straight cut right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down, and using my Versamat that I couldn't live without, I'm going to put it on there and sort of line it up roughly. You're not going to have a totally perfect edge with a torn edge. It's not what you're looking for. I've got my ruler. If you have a Close to My Heart ruler that you're using, you will see that one side, and I don't know if you can see this. Let me grab a sheet of white paper here. Where the numbers are at the top, that's got a beveled edge. So that's the side you want. This is a straight up and down edge on the other side. So I'm going to put it down, and let's say I want a 1/2 inch strip. So I'm going to lay it down around a 1/2 inch, and I have no fingernails, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to rip up. And it's going to give you a torn edge. It is not as flamboyant as this is, but it gives you, you know, the nice torn edge, and it gives you a little bit straighter line if that's what you're looking for. This is the piece I tore off, and as you can see, it really looks like it's not even torn, because this was the side I was pulling up. So if you were to look on the other side, you can see where the distress of the paper tearing is over there. So what do you do once you tear paper? Well, you can use it in all sorts of different ways, and if you go to Pinterest, they'll show you a million different things. One of the things, the reason I showed you this is because this is what I did for a scrapbook page. So for my scrapbookers out there, voila. This, oops, I'm losing things. Let me take this off. But what I have got here is a 12 by 12 page. I did 4 half-inch strips, and I'm going to bring them up so that you can see a little bit better that you do have some distressing on the edge here. It's harder to see from far away. And I did not put them perfectly straight because I wanted a more rustic or, I don't know, casual, whatever word you want, look for that. I then took a piece of white and a piece of bluebird, which is how I happen to have that little piece left, and tore out a section that would fit right in here. And I think what I'm going to do is I might put it at an angle. I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to put a picture. And obviously this is for a baby, for one of my grandsons. But put, you know, like a large one-size focal picture on here. So that's a way to use it in scrapbooking. You can do all sorts of things. And like I said, Pinterest has got a million ideas. Don't be afraid to look there. The other thing you can do with this, and let me just scoot this out, is you can use it for cards. This is a card I did quite a while ago, and you can see I took just some textured paper, tore the edges there, and used it under another piece. You can also layer them, and this is a card I just did, and we'll sort of run through this. I needed a masculine birthday card, so this one's going to be masculine. And for this, I chose to use different colored papers. These actually, if you can see, this is saffron, the light side, the dark side, avocado, I believe that's the dark side, and espresso, that's the dark side. You could use whatever colors you wanted. There's no specific colors. But what I did is I cut it down to 5.5 inches wide because that's the size of my card. And then I tore the edges. And if I can find what I did with my examples here, which are falling all over the place. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. I've got papers here, and we're going to use these. I'm going to start with the light side, and I'm going to tear it. And again, I'm going to tear up because I want the white core exposed. And you can tear it whatever angle, anything you want. First one, done. Second one, I'm going to tear along the edge too. And I might make this one a little more jagged. I might decide to go up and down. I could really do almost anything I wanted. But I've got that. And now, as you can see, it would go along there. The green, or the avocado, this is the darker side, and that's what I used. Again, I'm going to tear along the edge. Sometimes you find you get more white than others. If you can adjust it however you like. The green would then go next, and then the espresso was the last one. And the top one I might tend to maybe go up or down at one edge just to give it a little bit more interest, something like that. Now, in order to do these, what I did is I laid it down on my card so that I saw exactly where I might want it to be. In half a second, as usual, I forgot something. But here's my card base. It's a regular A2 card base, 4.25 by 5.5 finished size. I am going to use the May Stamp of the Month. And it's really pretty. But for doing a mail card, what I'm using is the happy and the birthday from this. I am going to use espresso ink because that's the darkest color I used on the card. And I took the happy and the birthday, lined them up so one is on top of the other. I'm going to get my foam sheet, open up my card, and then I'm just going to put my happy birthday down in the corner, hopefully straight. Okay. Once I had that stamped, I then could have an idea of how far down this might need to be. And as you can see, this is wider than the card is. So at that point, I just took a little mark, went like that, grabbed my paper trimmer, and I had been told that I use this backwards from everybody else, but here we go. I trimmed it to the right size. So now when I go to put this on the card, it's exactly where I want it to be, the right length. The next one, as you can see, is obviously going to be too wide. What I did was I went along here and glued it. I then put it approximately where I wanted it here. And then the easiest way to get it the right length is turn it over on the back. Line this up exactly with the top of the first layer. Cut it, and I've got the right width. I did the same thing then with the green, the avocado, sorry, and the espresso. So once I did that, because I was making a masculine card, I decided I was just going to use ordinary twine. I wrapped it around here, and I used one of our wooden buttons that's happened to be a heart-shaped. What I did is I took it and literally I rubbed it against the espresso ink, and it gave it that more distressed appearance. But I tied that on. Once that was on, then I took this whole thing and glued it down really well. Once it's glued down, add a few sparkles. You are done. You can write whatever you want in the side, but it's a quick and easy card. And you know what's really great about using torn paper is you can use up your scraps. It's absolutely perfect. So there's an idea. The stamp of the month for my VIPs out there, you know you get it free each month with a $50 order. And people that aren't VIPs, a $50 order, you get it for $5 instead of $18.95. And it's a beautiful stamp. I was going to show you one more thing. Anybody that has or does the shaker window cards, oh my gosh. If you do the shaker window cards, you have a circle, and it is the exact size for this flower. It makes a beautiful background. You can color it with watercolor pencils. You can use watercolor. You can use markers. I've also seen it. It looks absolutely stunning in black and white too. So that's just a tidbit as far as the May stamp of the month. I use gold glitter gems there. And other than that, that is the tip for today on paper tearing. I hope you like it. I hope you try it, and I hope you post some pictures of what you do. Thanks, and I will see you next week.